Hello everybody, video here for you today. Beyond Oak Island is a show in which the History Channel and Rick and Marty Lagina get involved with other treasure mysteries. If you missed any of my recaps of The Curse of Oak Island or Beyond Oak Island, there's a link to a playlist in the upper right. This is the no-cap recap of Season 2, Episode 7, called Pancho Villa's Plunder. Let's get into it. As usual, the episode opens in the Oak Island War Room. Matty Blake tells brothers Rick and Marty Lagina that the most intriguing treasure mysteries are ones that involve colorful characters, including revolutionaries. He mentions that although the French and American revolutions were a while back, the Mexican Revolution was fairly recent. Narrator Robert Clotworthy takes over and says that in 1910, Mexico was headed for a highly contested presidential election and was on the brink of revolution. Porfirio Diaz had been the president for 31 years, and many thought him to be corrupt and oppressive. Francisco Madero was the first phase of the revolution running in that election, while Pascual Orozco on the left and Pancho Villa on the right side built armies and fought across Mexico in support of Madero. General Francisco Pancho Villa was the commander of the Division of the North in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. He would later become its governor. Villa came from a humble upbringing, but eventually amassed great wealth by confiscations from conquered foes. Not wanting to have all his wealth in one place, Villa hid it in multiple locations. On July 20th, 1927, Pancho Villa was ambushed and assassinated by political rivals. Many researchers believe he left a number of buried treasures between El Paso, Texas, and Chihuahua, Mexico. In 1915, U.S. officials raided one of these locations, today known as the Pancho Villa Stash House. Thousands of dollars of looted treasures were recovered from a hidden safe. Because that safe was completely full, it is assumed there must be many other stash locations equally flush. Matty brings up Jackson Polk via video conferencing. Born and raised in El Paso, Texas, Jackson's love of history led him to become a documentary filmmaker, broadcast journalist, and radio host. Through associated research, he learned that the Mexican Revolution was planned in El Paso, and that Pancho Villa was a man to be reckoned with. He repeats the multiple stash location information. Matty asks if the stash house in El Paso could still hold hidden treasure, even though it was already raided in 1915 by U.S. officials. He knows the owner through the publicist and learned that the owner pulled up the floor, which revealed 2 stash locations that were empty. The owner has found old bottles and paperwork on the property that date around that 1915 time period. The owner has not metal detected, and he has invited the Beyond Oak Island team to visit and search. Marty has business in New Mexico, so he decides to go along with Matty. Rick decides to stay on Oak Island to take care of things there. Marty, Matty, and Jackson Polk arrive at the Stash House, now a national landmark, to meet the publicist and owner who is renovating the house to turn it into a restaurant, bar, museum. During the renovation, he began finding a lot of artifacts and decided to get professional help on the site. The Stash House, built in 1899 and sitting 1,000 feet from the U.S.-Mexico border, was an ideal location to hide weapons and treasure that could aid in waging war against the government of Mexico. This is one of the hiding spots found during the renovation. The backyard used to be horse stables for Pancho Villa and members of his army. Marty confirms that it has never been never been metal detected. Sorry about that. They go into the soldier's house next door and are shown artifacts found there, including coins and cash from the time. Marty has arranged a ground-penetrating radar team as well as metal detection expert / treasure hunter Gypsy Jules to join the search. Gypsy has been featured on 2 previous episodes of Beyond Oak Island called The Buried Loot of Sam Bass and The Lost Josephine Mine. Marty asks that the GPR team start inside the house. They run the GPR device over the previously shown hiding spot and show Marty what that void looks like on the display. They find another void that is not up against the wall like the previous one. They mark the dimensions with yellow tape. Meanwhile, Gypsy and Maddie are metal detecting outside. They find a coin that is rock encrusted. Maddie decides to let an expert clean it further so that it is not damaged. Marty calls them into the house and shows them the target found by the GPR. Gypsy runs her fancy new metal detector over it and gets a hit as soon as she passes the tape. While the floor gets sawed, they run GPR outside and find a void near the house, and then another. Marty says it could be partial filled-in tunnels. Maddie notices that the target inside and the 2 outside line up, further suggesting a tunnel. Pancho Villa's use of tunnels is well documented. The estate that he purchased in Chihuahua in 1911, that is now a museum commemorating the Mexican Revolution, has tunnels under it that he had built. Marty begins digging with the excavator, and the ladies both immediately see a coin which is found to be a 1905 Mexican penny. Marty says the soil is loose, so it's backfill. He keeps digging, and eventually Gypsy finds this button, which he says is American military of that era. Maddie says it's documented that Pancho Villa was wheeling and dealing with American officials. Gypsy also finds this partial bullet casing. Inside the house, they discover the void under the floor also has backfill in it. Maddie finds a hand-wrought spike in that hole. Unfortunately, they had to stop at that point. Marty recommended that they completely dig out the 4 square foot target. Back in the war room, he says he didn't get to dig the backyard as much as he wanted to. The owner updates the guys via video conferencing, saying that they found bottles and a plate around the 4-foot level. Marty recommends that they keep digging further and asks to remain updated, and that they will see if they can go back for more digging of the backyard. There have been other part 2s on previous episodes of Beyond Oak Island. I'll continue to do new episodes of Beyond Oak Island and, of course, The Curse of Oak Island once they air. I do not know if there will be a Beyond Oak Island next week because the History Channel has not updated their schedule for next Tuesday yet. My name is Steve Simpson, and otherwise known as Coach Steve Money. I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you can schedule a free financial consultation / assessment at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. We do that via video conferencing. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel, CoachSteveMoney@gmail.com. Channel donations are paypal.me/Coach Steve Money. You can add me on the gram, Coach Steve Money, no spaces. And the YouTube channel is, of course, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And all these links are in the video description as well. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you so much for your support and watching.